All right, hi everybody. Matt Buto here from North Country Game Day, testing out some equipment, hoping this works. We're at Horn Field covering the Berlin tennis team, the undefeated Berlin tennis team. White Mountains regional Spartans are in town, taking on this Berlin tennis team that has been relentless, going on and on with win after win after win. I think their closest game was probably against Guilford. I believe a 5-4 win. So between wanting to provide coverage and wanting to try some of this new equipment out, and also giving a shout out to this Berlin tennis team, we'll cover it. We don't have I don't have cameras that are zooming in right now, and it's kind of hard because, as you can see, there's two courts here in front of us, and then there's one out back here, a little ways off to the right. So we'll keep it right here as we talk a little bit about this Berlin tennis team. Again, undefeated. I'm going to pull up their schedule here so we can talk a little bit about it. Let's see. Bear with me while I try to edit, produce, record, broadcast. Um, Tennis. All right. So we'll go to Division Three tennis right now. Berlin, as I said, undefeated. They come in with. Let me look at the standings really quick. Trying to figure all this out here. I'm excited to be out here though. So Berlin comes in at 10-0, 10-0 in first place by 2 points over Guilford. So you have Berlin, Guilford, Kearsarge, Lebanon, Maltonborough, Trinity, Profile. Looks like Profile is one of the only other northern teams that are in the top 7 or 8. Again, Berlin 10-0. Guilford's close behind them at 9-1. Guilford's only loss actually came from Berlin. It was a 5-4 win over Guilford. And then as you go further down, Kearsarge 6-1, Lebanon 6-2, Marlborough 6-3, Trinity 5-3. Then you have Profile at 5-4. So there, I mean, that's the standings. Commanding first place position for Berlin, giving the second place team, Guilford, as we're watching some action live here, their only loss of the season. So many reasons why we're here today. That's certainly one of them, covering this somewhat new court, maybe 2 or 3 years, covering a very good Berlin team. And I guess if you were to pick a North Country rival, it would be White Mountains Regional here in town. So figured it'd be a good day. It certainly doesn't feel like spring right now. I'm kind of off of the river, feeling a cool breeze, but spring will be here sooner or later. It is May 11th today, or May 12th. May 11th. Still waiting for that warm weather to come. So let's take a closer look at Berlin, the tennis team. Coming in at 10-0. Trying to get back to my screen here. All right, I found it. There we go. Berlin coming at 10-0. They started off their season very strong. They played against the Profile Patriots back in early April with an 8-1 win. Then they play at home against Littleton with a 9-0, at Interlakes 9-0, at Sanborn 9-0. They come back home on the 17th against Prospect Mountain with a 7-2 win. And then home against Maltonborough with a 9-0 win. Then on April 22nd is that Guilford win, which appears to be the closest game so far. A very strong Guilford team, but they pulled off a win 5-4. Home against Profile, 9-0. Another close, somewhat close match against Prospect Mountain. The second closest match for Berlin at 6-3. When really ultimately wasn't that close, but you got to watch out for that Prospect Mountain team. So we're going to watch out for that Guilford team. And then most recently, They were at Bishop Brady 8-1. I think the Kennett game was rescheduled because of rain. So there's nothing on NHIA right there. Today at White Mountains, it looks like a young and an experienced White Mountains team, but out there working hard. Take a quick look while we're here on them. They make the quick trip over. Their recent win was against Sanborn on May 7th. A close loss to Profile and a close loss to Marlboro. They actually have three 5-4 losses, so they're in a pretty decent spot. If they can change up some of those scores, they could have easily won 3 games. So they're coming into Berlin today with only 1 win, but they're also coming in with, I believe, 3 1 point or game wins. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but so 5-4 3 times could have easily been switched in their favor. So I'm guessing that although young and inexperienced, they'll give Berlin a run for their money, and it looks like they'll be going back down to a couple of these other teams that they did win against 5-4. Play them again and give them a challenge. So Waymond's up here, 1 win, couple of 1 point losses, 1 game losses, but they're here to compete. As I said, first day of live streaming, covering the tennis match, NHIAA Division III tennis. There's been a lot of attention given to this Berlin team who comes in 10-0. I don't recall, again, I'm a very superstitious. I don't recall this kind of a start by a tennis team for Berlin recently, if at all. But here we are. They are 10-0, and their most competitive teams, one of them being Guilford, they did pull a win off, a win against them. So, and then it looks like Prospect Mountain would be another challenging team, and they beat them as well. So looking forward to seeing how that's going to look in the upcoming season. I think Berlin only has 2 more games. Let me double check that for you. Yeah, so they're at Kennett. It looks like that might have been rained out on the 8th. Today against White Mountains, I believe they have a home game, a home match, I should say, against Kennett on the 15th, and then away at Trinity. So if I'm reading this correctly, Berlin has 3 more games left. So we'll see how that goes. Looking at the scores and results for Trinity, anything in comparison, they easily beat Prospect Mountain. They also beat Bishop Brady, somewhat similar scores, and they only beat Profile 5-4. I think Berlin beat them 9-1 or 9-0 or 8-1. So it could be another evenly matched game, or evenly matched match, if you will, for the lack of a better term, as my nerves are shining through here. But yeah, so Hornfield Division III tennis, the 10-0 Berlin team is here taking on White Mountains Regional, another good upcoming team. We have 3 matches going at once. Closest to me right now is White Mountains Regional in these front 2 courts, and then we have a court further away, and I believe it would be the same, that the tennis player closest to us is White Mountains, and furthest to us is Berlin. Let's try out this camera again. I'm not zooming in right now, only because I got about 17 things going on, and it also looks like you get a little bit of an angle here that I don't really like, but that's okay. Take a look. See if I can pan for you. There's the court. If you look at this court, these 2 courts right in front of us there had been courts here in the past. Again, I can't remember exactly what year these courts were updated, but if you take a look, you can see that there was certainly some work done for them. And then let's see if I can get over there a little bit for you. If you look further out back there, you will see a 3rd court. that was added. And I don't know what the plan was for that. I know that they wanted to make sure that these courts were updated. A couple of people had came to school board meetings saying, "Hey, why don't we? We take a lot of time and invest a lot of time and money in the fields. What about the tennis courts?" And here we are, three brand new, beautiful courts, and we got a very successful Berlin team that's playing on them. I'm not sure if any of that's connected, but I'm sure it does feel better to play on a court and be proud of your court. Um, so if you look further to your right, you can see way back there is the middle school baseball field, a baseball field, softball field. So multi use complex as we're watching this game. Trying to fix. Bear with me. I'm trying to fix the angle here a little bit. We'll see. I'm on a little bit of a slope, so like I said, bear with me while I try to do a little bit of everything here today. So it looks like some matches are finishing up. Um, no scoreboard or anything, but I'm guessing, as Berlin typically does, coming in this match 10-0. I'm sure that they'll be able to do the work they need to do against this White Mountains regional team. Some players walking off the court. We'll stay here. I am going to take a look at the rest of the North Country sports going on today, especially softball in Berlin. I know that they both have games. I believe Interlakes is in town. Let's take a quick look while we're here. If you can believe this, I left my seat in the car, so I'm trying to bend over and take a look here with my old eyes. Let's start with baseball over at Division III Berlin. Berlin, rough season with Don Picard at the helm. The one thing with the Berlin team is if you look at their scores, it seems as though, as you would expect from Coach Picard, improvement every game. They started off with I think there was back in early May, early April, they played against Newfound and walk-off hit, I believe, with a Newfound win, which was an outstanding way to start the season. It's went a little downhill since then with their only win. But if you look, they played at Interlakes on the 4th, only lost 13-12, only lost by a run. Then they were down at Hillsborough Daring and lost that game 6-5. So they come in with only one win on the season. They're home over at Memorial Field playing against Interlakes. Last time they played Interlakes, that was the 13-12 game. So hoping for some competitive baseball and hoping that the Berlin boys team can pull off a win. I have not done any games or umpired any games over there. But if you know Don Picard, he's a baseball guy. He's been a basketball coach for many years, probably one of the best, if not the best, Division III coach in the state. Decided to coach the boys baseball team. And after doing some homework on Mr. Picard, he, I believe, a UVM ball player. It's definitely in his pedigree. He's a great coach, great baseball guy. So it's hard to see that in some of the outcomes of these games, but the future is bright for that Berlin team. I don't know as much about the softball team, but what I'll do for now is I'll stick in Division III while we're watching the White Mountains Regional Spartans here in Berlin take on the 10-0 Berlin team, Berlin Mountaineers. But we'll stay with Division III. Speaking of White Mountains Regional, they come in with just 3 losses on the season, coached by Ben Hicks, who came back, I believe, a year or two ago. You talk about the better coaches in the state. Ben's up there as well. I believe 1, if not 2, if not more, state championships. So Ben's back. I think this is his second or third year back. White Mountains, Woodsville over Woodsville 19-4 over Interlakes 12-9. Loss against Guilford, loss against Bishop Brady, but then a good run. Berlin, Littleton, Woodsville, Newfound all wins, and then recently went down to a very strong Belmont team on the 7th with a 12-3 loss. Anybody knows baseball knows that Belmont, especially within the past few years, has been playing some outstanding baseball. The one thing I do know with Coach Hicks is his teams are well coached and good fundamentals. And even on those 9-3 losses, he kind of leads you to believe that that's a really good Belmont team that beat them. Now, if baseball is anything like basketball, White Mountains Regional does have some very good athletes in general, but they also have a freshman class of athletes that are outstanding. I know that by observing them in middle school, especially, and I'm guessing that that athletic ability will flow over to baseball. So once they start to mature, get into their ninth, 10th, and 11th grade years, I think you're going to see a White Mountains regional team that's going to make it deep into the playoffs as they have in the past. Even this year, only coming in with 3 losses. They have Newfound, who they already beat. They Littleton, they beat Berlin. Then they're going out of Deerfield, which I'm guessing is going to be a tough game. Winnisquam coming in at about 500. They'll be at Winnisquam on the 22nd, and Mascoma Valley on the 23rd, and then Belmont. So you're looking Newfound, close, but a win. Littleton, a win. Berlin, a win. Deerfield, not sure. Typically very strong. Winnisquam's coming in at 500, so I'm guessing that's going to be a good game. Mascoma Valley, let's take a quick look. Yeah, Mascoma Valley, if their record tells us how that game's going to go, it looks like White Mountains Regional will have a win in that game. What else do we have? And then Belmont. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe of the 6 games left, maybe 4 wins. And that brings them only to 5 losses. So that could potentially be a home first round game, playoff game. So we'll see. But that's White Mountains Regional and Berlin baseball. 2 very good baseball teams, 2 very good baseball coaches. Berlin is hoping to get at least a couple more wins this season. But again, if you know Coach Picard, you know that they're working on fundamentals, they're working on mechanics, and every game, win or lose, they are learning. So then on the other end, White Mountains Regional, Ben, Coach Hicks expects good fundamentals, and as you can see in the results, having some success. But that is Division 3. Let's switch over to Division 4, where we have many more teams up here in the North Country. Division 4 baseball. I'll go over them really quick as we're covering here. We're covering the Berlin girls tennis team. White Mountains Regional is here in town. This Berlin team is 10-0, getting a lot of attention for their stellar play. I don't have a lot of information on both teams as I'm here producing, editing, recording, broadcasting. But what I can tell you is White Mountains is here, Berlin's here, and Berlin's having a heck of a season, coached by Andy Rancliffe. So he has shared information with me. He's actually been pretty great, but I can't access it right now. So, but let's go to Division 4. We'll start local for baseball. A Gorham team, I just umpired a game there the other day. A Gorham team that's a very young team. If you know anything about Gorham baseball historically, especially within the past 4 or 5 years. They've had some great teams, teams that have just meshed and done really well. A championship game, deep runs into the playoffs. This year is a rebuilding year. As you look at their record, 3-3, couple of big wins against Pittsburgh, Canaan, Groveton, and Woodsville. And then a walk-off, from what I gather, a walk-off home run win for Pittsburgh Canaan over Gorham. And then tough loss against Colebrook. I think the pitching may be limited for Gorham. They played, looks like they played at least 2 games, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. They played 3 games in 1 week, and I think that might be tough with pitching. So 7-6 loss to Pittsburgh Canaan, 15-2 loss against Colebrook, and a 22-7 loss on the 8th against Littleton. They are at Lisbon today. Lisbon is a team up here in the North Country that you want to watch close. I believe they have 1 or 2 add-ons this year, new players. I'm not sure. That's a team that you're going to want to watch closely. Let's actually slip up to them real quick on the site here. Lisbon comes in with only 2 losses. Pittsburgh Canaan 11-0 over Profile 4-2, which was a good game. Over Groveton 7-6. A loss to Moultonborough, which was somewhat surprising, although Moultonborough is having a really good year. Win at Littleton, win at Colebrook, loss to Messinic, and a win at Pittsburgh Canaan. So the record may be a little deceiving depending on how many times they've played up here in the North Country with some young and inexperienced teams, especially that Pittsburgh Canaan team. But Lisbon's the real deal. They're coming in with 2 losses. They're at Gorham, Pittsburgh Canaan, Colebrook, Woodsville, Profile, all wins so far for them. Mount Royal, not sure. Moultonborough will be a good game. They lost the first one 4-3, then Groveton. So if the schedule up until now is, or the results are how things might look, then you're looking at, I don't know, maybe